I know people think the fight was rigged, but I don't think it was. I think Tyron was just being Tyron, and the fight results are exactly how you should have expected them to be. Hey, what's up, Fight Nerds? This is your boy Gashawn. I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. Today, we kind of talk about the results of the Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley fight, match, sideshow, whatever you want to call it, right? So as we know, they had a boxing match on Sunday. Now, what's funny about this is, like, usually me and my friends, we always stream like the UFC fights, the wrestling matches, stuff like that on Discord, and we watch it together. Now, it's funny because I had to pretty much pull my friend Jonathan's leg to stream it because he really didn't want to see it. And I get it, because he really didn't want to give it any energy or any credence or anything like that. But it is what it is. What I wanted to do was, I just look at it like a sideshow, right? I look at it like just a little source of entertainment. I think the problem with these matches is that people really try to feed this weird MMA versus boxing rivalry, which is really stupid, right? Because this does not tell you anything about MMA or boxing. Nothing at all, right? Because it's not like they're using both their respective skill sets here. It's an MMA fighter boxing, and a guy who's, I guess kind of training in boxing. It is what it is, right? Now, leading up to this fight, a lot of people were like speculating, like, I guess Tyron's got the fight experience, and Jake, he's been boxing longer. And obviously, in my opinion, I knew Jake was going to get the edge out, because in terms of boxing, just being in the area of boxing, he has the fundamentals down enough to be able to edge out a win, which he did. Does that mean that Tyron didn't have the tools to win? Of course he did. He's always had the tools, but he has never shown the acumen. Here's what I mean by that. So even in his MMA career, he always had the ability to leg kick someone's legs like 500 feet away if he really wanted to. But he never used all of his tools. When he knocked people out, it was because he was constantly waiting for that pullback right. But he was never setting stuff up. He was never some type of amazing striker, which is what they were trying to build him to be, but that wasn't really the case, right? And I'm not saying Jake Paul is amazing by any means, but we're talking about boxing here. And in terms of just within the confines of boxing, Jake has been doing that longer. Which, even in this fight, Tyron's experience was giving him quite an edge, especially when it came to his timing, right? But there were plenty of times where Tyron literally, and I guess this is where people think that it's fixed, right, could have really went in there and started setting things up with a jab, making it dirty. Because since he's not a boxer, he shouldn't have been standing at a distance with him and really trying to box him. He should have got right within the range and made it ugly. Made him feel how strong he was, getting those nice little body shots, closing the distance with a jab, and then or it'll be the opposite, right? Because he's orthodox. So getting the jab and then setting up the right. Because I remember he was talking, he gonna see all these punches and angles he never saw before. Didn't really see too much of that. He kind of just waited for the opportunity to open itself, which is something that he's always done. So people really can't be surprised by how he performs, because this is what he does. Right? Which was always why I was like, okay, well, Jake will probably edge it out. And he did, because even though he got hit with the harder shots, he made sure to stay busy enough hitting him with these little body shots over. Because remember, this is a sport, which means that the rounds are added up cumulatively. So it's about how many punches, not about just how hard you hit him. If you hit somebody with 3 really hard shots, but the person hits you with 14 shots that maybe didn't hurt you, but still hit you with 14 shots, they have outscored you. This is something that people don't understand, and you see this a lot in MMA. Well, look at his face. Does it make a difference if this dude was literally wasting you? This is not, they say, but in a real fight, what would it have meant? But it's not. It's a sport. It's about what was accomplished round by round. And a lot of people don't understand that. And I can see people right here, they're not understanding that as well. Well, look, he had him on the ropes. Okay, but he did not finish him. Whose fault was that? Whose fault was that? It's Tyron. Could he have? Absolutely. But he was just waiting for certain things. Now, a lot of people think that right there is why it was fixed, because they figured he would have. But he doesn't pull the trigger like that a lot. That's something that he does a lot in his fights. So it didn't really surprise me. Now, what's really like cringy is like this whole, oh, put the tattoo on you, then we'll do it. Bet, we'll do. What? Come on now. I understand maybe you're being competitive, you want to do this fight again, but don't let this man put a tattoo on you as a condition to get another fight. That's just kind of weird. It's like, where's your pride at this point? And I just don't want to feed this whole thing like Jake Paul is a new face of combat. No. If this is a whole new genre of just like sideshows, like YouTubers and musicians or whatever fighting each other, let this be its own thing. But this should not affect a person's ability to be able to fight real, like ranked opponents. Like, let this be guys who either retired or on a downslide or just not fighters at all. But don't go, oh, Jake Paul should go there then talking about fighting Canelo. Obviously, that's never going to happen. I don't think it will, because Canelo, like, he's about competitive. Like, he's not just about the money. He could afford a lot of people for money, but he's about the competitive edge. But no, and if you watch Jake Paul in there, right, he made a lot of really bad mistakes that even a top 50 boxer would have been able, like an amateur boxer would have been able to take him apart. Like, even his footwork, when he got tired, he was like crossing his legs, like just doing really bad things that didn't make any sense. And it makes sense for his skill level, right? So, which is once again why when I look at Tyron could have absolutely taken this fight from him at that point. But Tyron does not have that type of striking acumen, and it shows. So I don't think people should be talking about it being rigged. Just another case of just kind of Tyron being Tyron. And I really like Tyron, man. I loved his whole MMA career. I remember I was rooting for him. It's funny. My boy always brings up this moment where he fought Kamaru Usman. I was like, saying, Tyron does this, and this. And in that fight, he got completely dominated. And since then, those fights have kind of looked the same over and over and over again. Now, Tyron has always had all the tools to be a monster, but for some reason, just never utilized them all. And it is what it is. Let me know what you think. Do you want to see more fights like this? Do you think that this was rigged? Tell me, what did you get from the fight? Do you think that he was robbed for some reason, even though the scoring is what it is? Let's talk about it. Enter the Nerd.